Right? We're live.
Greetings and welcome to the NS Design Connect Live Bass Edition, featuring NS artist and educator and bassist Brittany Frompovich, premiering some new songs and solo pieces with her bandmate Ashley Chevalier. I'm Corey Redonnet, NS Design's Artist Relations Manager, along with NS company founder and designer Ned Steinberger. We have Paul Priest of Jericho Woods and Dallas Moore joining us. Let's see, Noor Cherie of Symphonic Planet and singer-songwriter Ashley Chevalier. We should just take it away. I think they've got a great new tune called the other tune. What's the name of the tune?
Are we doing Hard Working Woman?
Hard Working Woman, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Hard Working Woman. It's a good one.
Hardworking Woman we'll do next is what was mentioned in the bio, and that is a straight up blues tune, and it's got some really cool folks on it. Every lick of that song is true. I'm a hard-working woman, baby. Work like my mama taught me to. Well, I'm a hard-working woman, baby. Work like my mama taught me to. Rain us by night, the swoon sings the blues. Well, no, I'm a rambling kind of woman, baby. From town to town. Well, no, I'm a rambling kind of woman, baby. I play music from town to town. You know, nothing gets me going like a brand new sound. 'Cause you know I've worked in the kitchens, and I work singing drinks, and I work shoveling bricks and stones till my back hurt and I ache. My heart wouldn't want to, baby. Act like my mama taught me to. And that's what I know. That's what love sings the blues. Go ahead, Brittany.
Yeah.
Well, you know I'm a loving kind of woman, baby. Need a real good man to treat me right. Well, you know I'm a loving kind of woman, baby. Need a real good man to treat me right. Well, you know that's all this blues a woman needs when she comes home at night. Oh, yeah. 'Cause you know I've worked in the kitchens, and I work slinging drinks, and I work shoving bricks and stones till my back hurt and I ache. My hard-working woman, baby, work like my mama taught me to. And that's what I know. That's what love sings blues. You know that's what I know. That's what love. She says the blues. True story, all of it.
Yeah, man.
Right on. I can't think of great vocals there, Ashley, and what a great duo. I've really enjoyed reviewing some of your videos you sent us.
Thank you.
But I think talk about a hardworking woman. Brittany this year, or the last 2 years, has endured a lot of challenges, and I think she beat him with a stick and won. It's I don't know if you want to give us a little synopsis, but yeah, there's like 6 things that happened that were pretty life-changing.
Yeah. We had the hopefully I'm not the same 6 you do. We had the pandemic. That was one, and that shut down Rock for Strings, and I pivoted the whole studio online inside of a couple of days. I had students online before. I've taught virtually before, but and I know other people do it full time with all their students, but for me, it was a big thing getting all 50, 55 on them online all at once inside of a week, because taking lessons, it's a habit. And if they fell out of the habit, I wanted them to get a new habit quickly while we were in this transition, especially when they had time and they were still trying to sort out what to do. Yeah, that happened. I broke my hand. I broke the distal radius, developed a neurological disorder that's not well understood. It's kind of rare, called chronic regional pain syndrome. I still have it. The goal is to drive it into remission. We're working on that. It gets better. That's still a work in progress, but I'm able to play again. That's been nice. And the same day I broke that limb, a tree came down onto my house and my vehicle. And that was a whole journey of itself. So I'm not sure I caught all of them. I think I did.
Yeah, that was a good large part of it. And yes, so you were stuck with a broken wrist in your home for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then you had a tree on your house and your car.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be making a bass out of the tree trunk of that, right?
Yeah, I would like to. There are several pieces that have been drying nicely, I hope, in the backyard. I found a gentleman with a sawmill, who's a luthier, and he will be cutting up. He'll be processing it for me so we can see what's in there. The tree.
Do you know what species it is?
Maple.
Maple.
But it looks like, according to someone else who looked at it at the time, one of the people who helped me clear it, it looks like it had ambrosia. So it might have some cool ambrosia markings. I guess we'll find out when we cut it open.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, send it up to us. We'll send it over to the Czech Republic and get a radius made out of it.
Sweet.
And it's cool. Also, I noticed in your video and the ones we're going to be seeing as well, you really dramatically changed your playing technique. And it more resembles sort of a classical guitar positioning. And is that mainly for your pain syndrome?
I've had to. Yeah, the wrist does not have the same mobility as before. I have a muscle contracture. I can demonstrate. This one is the normal wrist. Does all the things. Can do doorknobs. It's great. This one, I can play bass, but I cannot do doorknobs. It's kind of hilarious, but not hilarious. Well, that's actually doing pretty good today, but I'm actually doing it more from my elbow.
Hardly hilarious. I don't
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like, people see me play bass and I literally struggle with a doorknob. That's the hilarious
You
part.
can always
I guess,
hire
but it's
someone to
not.
open the door for you, Brittany, but you can't hire someone to play the bass for you. So
No.
that in mind.
The so I have to do a classical positioning because that wrist just doesn't do some of the things it used to do, and it's been a learning process. But I mean, that being said, I did my first solo show a week ago in 2 years between the pandemic and the wrist break. And I started my show telling people that when the cast was taken off, and this was a whole new experience for me. I didn't know what having a broken bone, how it was supposed to go. So I didn't know anything was wrong. I didn't know that there was something happening that shouldn't be. I just thought it was healing and this was normal or part of the healing process. There was a lot of burning and a lot of swelling and, laying awake at night, feeling like my limb was on fire. So when it came out of the cast, the fingers they weren't moving very well at all. And it had atrophied quite a bit. The skin looked waxy and pale. I lost a lot of muscle. It looked very bad. So when I opened my solo bass show last Saturday, I just kind of told people about that, about my fingers not moving. And I just was like, but you know what? We're here today. A tree fell on my house. I lived, so we're gonna have a party. And I kicked it off with something, under another original called Brother to Fall. That's just fast paced and fun. There's still stuff that I jump up the neck and can't reach, or I can't get the fingers to quite do what they used to do. It gets better. It's still taking time, but I've found switching to classical playing positions helping a lot. I can get up the neck, and it's not perfect for some of the things I used to be able to do, but it's helping a lot.
I'm glad that you're recovering and that the prospects look good.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's check out another tune. This is another one with Ashley, one of Ashley's tunes.
Never could consent to keep in the caged bird down by the river. I never was content with keeping the clipped wings and on the bow. And take me to the river where I can stretch my skin, and take me to the ocean where it all began, and take me to the mountain and I will kiss the sky, and take me to the canyon and I will fly. To keeping the free will behind the bar. I never was content with the bricks, cement, and tar. And take me to the river and I can stretch my skin, and take me to the ocean where it all began, and take me to the mountain and I will kiss the sky, and take me to the canyon and I will fly. Oh, I will fly. Take me to the ocean, it all began, and take me to the mountain, and I will kiss the sky, and take me to the canyon, and I will fly, and take me to the river, I can stretch my skin, take me to the ocean. Take me to the canyon and I will fly.
want to add that that is her most requested song, if I recall
Nice.
correctly.
Yeah.
I think I like her. I think we both grew up on Eat a Peach and Live at the Fillmore East. Is what it sounds like to me. I believe she's my fellow Allman Brothers fan.
Mhm.
Can I say, Brittany, I think you deserve that fretless bass.
I'm with Nora, man. And what chorus were you using on that?
Hang on, it's right behind me.
It sounded so good.
An old DoD FX62 bass stereo
You
chorus,
can't beat them. You can't beat them.
and a Seymour Duncan Vapor Trail, one of the earlier ones. I've gone through a couple different chassis changes, but I've got an older one.
That chorus sounded good.
I have to say you're an extremely expressive player, and I can see it's a unique. You have a unique way of playing, so I have to say it's like a pleasure to see it, and you have a really cool blend. I can tell you're using the piezo, and so there's a lot of warmth and wood that it's nice to hear through, especially a 6-string, because 6-strings tend to be very metallic in most cases. So it means my opinion hearing that. So it's nice to hear that a different color, there's a blend. It's like a personal blend I can hear and how you're playing and accompanying with that. So
I heard that too on the low notes. I got that woody upright-esque rasp, if you will, and I mean that in the best way. And then on the high stuff is just clarity. And I thought that was really cool. Just the to differentiate between the low register and the high. And I thought that was probably my favorite part of the whole thing. That chorus effect was pretty awesome too.
So I mean, the bass, it you've got the rhythm job, but I come from a classical background too, so there's so much melody you can incorporate. I mean, it's rhythm and melody. You can be in both spaces at the same time. It's just having a balance so that you can pull the song forward while still expressing a melody.
may I ask a question?
Sure. Then, yeah.
I understand a little bit of what it's like to experience kind of a total system reset and having to play bass. 2016, I dropped a car in my hand and I lost my ability to play as well. But I did not face the adversity that you have gone through. And
I don't know about that.
I to say it's quite impressive. And it was quite a journey to get back to being able to. I mean, everything changed the way I played, and I imagine that you're probably experiencing that. So I guess my question is, how has this experience that you've gone through? I mean, and you still have a smiling face, and you're still enjoying music. How has it inspired? Do you feel like it's inspired a new version of how you're playing and how you express playing music? Or does it carry a different meaning to you?
Yeah, I understand the question. I don't even think it's just necessarily a new version of music, or what it means to me, but in the story, and I'm only saying this because I don't know if you know it, there was a moment where I looked outside and was making a decision. A healthier version of me would have gone out and moved my car. And the broken arm kept me from making that decision because I had a sedative shot in me. It was long enough. I stood at the window and I stood at the door. My hand was reaching for the doorknob and I saw the weather changing. And I was literally like, no, you're on your own. But I had enough time to delay that I was not outside when that tree came down. It's not even a different relationship with music. It's a different relationship with every moment, with getting out of bed, with life, with the people around you. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well,
as far as the relationship with music, yeah. Another shift that happened for me was a lot of people stepped up, not just family, but the bass community, local community. I don't want to not I'm not going to say names because I don't know if everybody has signed off on giving me the liberty to do that here. So I'm not going to say names, but a lot of people stepped up and a lot of people helped. I feel that there is, I wouldn't say an obligation, but a fire to prove that investment right. Or maybe where I had come at things before to prove my detractors wrong, but now there is a fire to prove their investment in me right.
Yeah.
That's quite a challenge.
Can't think of a better reason to play music really in the world. Yeah.
It's, that's important. The payback and the giving back is really important, and that's great. It's an inspiration for you, or a drive for you.
Yeah, it's a
Certainly.
positive one though too. It's a different shift than being in a position where you're trying to prove your detractors wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're also overcoming an adversity, physical adversity. And it's so, one thing I've become very conscious of is how much musicians depend on their good health, particularly in their hands or wherever, you know, the music is made from. You know, I've had some adversity with, neurological problems in my hand, for example, that sometimes my hand freezes up and but you know what? I just take a break. I'm not playing a bass or a guitar. And if I make stuff, I cut things out of wood and metal and so on, and I can find ways to supplement any kind of deficiency I have, you know, but if you're playing a musical instrument, it's just much more of an issue, really, and potentially life-changing to have any kind of setback physically. And so, anyway, you're an inspiration, I'm sure, for many, that you bringing yourself back to the music that you love, and that's great. I remember years ago I met Les Paul. Because he was into guitars and so was I, and he hadn't played for years when I met him because of arthritis in his hand. And then I guess at one point he just said, "So what? I'm going to play anyway." And he went back out on the stage and did his thing. But when I was talking with him, he was convinced that it was all over, but he was able to overcome that. And so that was an inspiration for me, and seeing what you're doing is also an inspiration.
Thank you.
I think a lot of the bass players that we grew up loving too have been quoted as saying, you know, our limitations are what define our style. You know, what we can and can't do define our style. And we as we get older and more arthritic and middle-aged, that's a good thing to remember. I think it's a positive. I think that's a positive. Our limitations define our style, and it makes us sound like we sound.
Yeah.
And you know, as an artist without any limitations, it's kind of like all art is part of it is the limitations you work under. If it was completely unlimited, you probably wouldn't be able to figure out what the hell to do. You know,
We all go crazier than we already are.
God forbid.
I had told people that, and I don't think folks had seen it. It hasn't happened very much with Ashley or with some of the other gigs I get, like a choral gig and other things, where my hands will sometimes glitch. The glitches have been smoothing out. I did this solo show this past week, and there's a chord I have to reach for high up on the neck, the stuff that gives me trouble still. And right as I reached for it, and I'm with a drummer who's really just dialed in, Toby Fairchild, just love how he plays drums, plays with Keller Williams and with Ashley. One of the parts I love about playing with Ashley is getting to do stuff with Toby. But so he's locked in, and I'm reaching for this chord, and I've told people my hands glitch and they haven't seen it, and I'm not sure if they even believe me. And finally, like right in front of him, I think he's the only other person on stage who's seen it. It glitched going for the chord. It just stopped and it dropped down. I'm like, well, fuck it, it's syncopated now. And, you know, I would have been stressed about it when I was younger, but I was just happy I got it. And I was like, it's going to be offbeat, whatever, we'll make it work.
It's called improvisation.
Or polyrhythms, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, hit it twice and look at them with the stink eye and say, so you don't listen to Pharaoh Sanders records, huh?
Yeah.
Always call it jazz, you'll be fine.
Or just look at the drummer and look
Always blame
confused.
it on the drummer.
Nice. Well, I think we have a solo piece by you too, and it's a cold hello. Is that correct?
Yeah, I want to say that right before this all happened, I was setting out to get this song recorded and over to you guys with this bass, because it just felt really good to do on this instrument. And of course, I broke my hand. So one of the things while getting, you know, learning how to pick up pins and doing all the things, I felt like a stroke patient, but, you know, like picking up little objects and putting them into little holes and doing my therapy I was like, I'm going to play this song again. And it was so nice to sit down with the DSLR this weekend and record it and be like, I'm here. I'm getting them this thing that I was going to do. So
Nice.
Fantastic.
It's a cold hello. That's right, and it's Brittany solo.
It's cold and alone. My blood's rising high to meet the cold stars, the night sky, and the void that used to be you. The cold hello, the stars, the night sky, and the void that used to be you. Fireflies leaving blazes, reaching for some unseen spaces, seeking, keening, spirit of a once bright connection, now dying like a flare, sputtered out, soldered tattered. Take down your sweet semblance from the pedestal you held in my heart. Wing my way east, this darkened soul robbed of its spark. The cold hello, stars, the night sky, and the void that used to be you. Salt smells in the sand. Home is not a place I will know. Seeking, keening, a better view might grant me some serenity. Cold hello, stars, the night sky, and the void that used to be you. I take down your sweet semblance from the pedestal you held in my heart. Wing my way east, this darkened soul robbed of its spark. Cold hello, stars, the night sky, and the void that used to be you. My way higher and higher, cold hello from the night sky. Wing my way higher and higher to the void that used to be you. Wing my way higher and higher, there's a void that used to be you. Wing my way higher and higher, here I find the soul amputation. Wing my way higher and higher, here begins the soul amputation. Cold hello, stars, the night sky. Cold hello, stars, night sky. Cold hello, stars, night sky, and the void that used to be.
right, so counting the injury on the left hand, like your right hand is fantastic. Like your mutes, and I'm a palm mute. I was a palm mute kid. I mean, I bought my first Steinberger licensed court Squire Little Headless because of Sting. So I was an '80s palm mute kid, and I love that. So I love your left hand. That's amazing, being that who knew what could have happened. But your right hand is on the money.
Thank
And
you.
you're singing while you're doing it. Who are you, Joni Mitchell? I mean, that's fantastic. I don't know how you sing over what you're playing. I love that. I'm jealous.
Oh,
That was rad.
thank you.
It's nice to hear the tapping accompaniment. I love that.
Man.
It's like a
So where
Java.
did inspiration come for this song?
What's that?
Where did the inspiration come for the song, A Cold Hello?
Getting ghosted and then somebody trying to make up for getting ghosted.
Oh,
So what happens when you get ghosted and then somebody tries to like, oh, I'm not that person? It's a
mm,
cold hello.
well, the music definitely.
Damn.
I can feel that for sure.
Thug life.
When you use the word ghosted,
Who would ghost a bass player, man? What the hell's wrong with them?
They're
what
out
does that
there.
mean? Does that mean the same as
Ghosted. It
canceling
could be like
someone?
a friend or a relationship, but when somebody just kind of like just goes no contact.
Radio silence.
I've had a couple of those auditions.
You mean like most artist relations managers?
But no, but not Corey.
Good for you,
Not
bro.
Corey. Not
Good for
Corey.
Yeah, Paul, stop telling your friends to email me or to text me at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday.
Oh, hey, Corey, by the way. No.
Hey, listen, man, we're farm people. We get up early. If you're not up,
I do too,
no,
but
we expect you to get up.
I know I am. I took the call.
I don't think he sleeps, honestly.
No, that's beautiful. Any effects on that
Let me-
to bring out the? Was it mostly the piezo, or was it kind of a blend?
I'm trying to remember. Hang on.
That's okay.
No, that was pretty much just the bass. I've got a different rig for solo stuff, but all I did was take it into something that would split the output and use both channels on the LWA 1000 behind me to thicken it up. That's it.
Nice.
That's all.
That sounds great. It's
I
cool. to
love
hear.
that I love the rasp. And I keep going back to that word, but I don't know how to describe it. It's this woody. You're an upright player. And I hear it in your bass guitar playing. I hear that there's a grunt. Good, and it's not everybody can get that, and I love that. And back to your muting too, and your ghost notes. That's where it's at.
Yes.
That's where it's at. That's the good stuff.
What is how is your progress on the upright, Brittany? Have you been tackling that at all?
That's in there. That's in there. I've got some originals that I had done on upright. If anyone's following another project I had called the Ginger Bass Mafia, there was
Coolest name
a
ever.
really cool like nod to like Chick Corea's Spain-esque song called Oracle Rising. So I've been trying to get back some of that and playing acoustic upright. It's also just fitting it in when I can. So I'm not complaining. We've been gigging.
How's the upright treating that left hand, Brittany? I mean, is it?
I'm lucky. Well, first off, the CR5M is great for this hand. It's more just getting the strength and dexterity back, but the action's really low. I'm also lucky in that I have a really well set up upright. It's really old. Someone did a lot of work on it, and the action is beautiful.
It looks
Nice
I
and
can see it, but it looks awesome.
Thanks.
Mine's hid back in the corner. Mine's an old. It's a 39K craft, and the action is that of a dobro.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
horrible. It'll break.
This has the action of an electric bass. It's so, I mean, I was telling somebody that it's unfortunate this all happened, but in the sense that I'd been acquiring some of the things I had, I probably landed in the best possible position to recover.
Cool. Good. Yeah, Paul, you're one of those bluegrass guys who likes really high action.
And I don't really like it. Well, I did when you all met me when I was in my 20s. That was when I got my first NS upright bass, and I was playing high action thump thump, you know, and I'm middle aged now, and things hurt now.
Yeah.
They just do, you know.
It
Late
is funny
gigs
though.
hurt.
Like Brittany likes the low action, and for the CR instruments and stuff, it's like, you know, we kind of
Yeah.
set them up a little bit on the lower side because we want to make life easier for.
Well, the one you all sent me, I can hammer it, you know, and play in bluegrass gigs, and it still doesn't buzz, and it still it doesn't quack.
Yeah,
It just thumps. It's just, and I appreciate that. You know,
seems
I've
like
got
every
high action taste and Telecaster hands, you know. Give me
every NS we send out to the bluegrass folks want it like jacked up so high.
Well, they're young.
And I even had one guy about 10 years ago. I was like, well, you can shim the bridge higher. Do you want us to, do you have some maple or something? He goes, no, I got a shake I can take off the side of my house. And that's what he did.
He could have got it off the car he had in his front yard on blocks. So, you know.
That too.
I used to have higher action on all my instruments, but it's been creeping down as I'm getting older too. So,
No, did you guys have a full set of gigs this summer?
it actually had us going pretty good. We've got a good one coming up this weekend at Licking Hole Creek Brewery in Goochland. There's Seafood, Sunflower, and Soul Festival.
Are you still doing mostly outside stuff, or are you guys doing any
Yes.
inside theater stuff? Okay.
No, I
Now,
mean,
where are you located, Brittany?
I am in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Okay.
So
whatever.
she's got us gigging all the way up like the Mid-Atlantic down into North Carolina. We're even going to Key West this year. So
Right.
Cool.
thank you, Ashley.
We're pretty fortunate. I'll just weigh in on the tour schedule a little bit. We've been pretty fortunate to get requests to play regionally up and down the coast now as a band. So and people even ask, they're like, is Brittany playing with you? Which is great.
Aw.
So, and I would say that in the gigging industry, I don't know if this is true in your past experience, Brittany, but definitely in our realm in the jam rock band circuit, when you start to get requested to play full weeks in tourist destinations like Key West, and they were like, have a whole week, please, play New Year's Eve, and they want to pay you to do it. You've kind of gotten to a different, you've achieved something in your career demands. So pretty excited to, and I don't know if you'll be in Delaware with me yet, but now that we've embarked on this duo opportunity, I see that as moving forward into a different direction as well, because we're hoping to do an EP from some of the singles that she just released. She showed you some of the videos. We're hoping to do a 6-song release from that session as well that'll feature her, and then hopefully hadn't really put it all together yet, but hopefully put a tour behind supporting that, which I think might actually go a little further than just coastal, because there's a pretty big market for exactly what we did, and it's a different flavor from what I do with the band. So
Nice.
Ashley, would y'all consider yourself, are you like a part of like the jam band scene? Is that kind of the scene that you all tend to get booked in?
well, people would
That's
maybe
so
say,
strong on the East Coast.
yeah, and also like up Midwest, you know, so my band definitely jams. You would not call us a jam band. Like if you were talking about pigeons playing ping pong or twiddle, then people would be like, oh yeah, that's a jam band. But we definitely fall under the soul jam, you know, like people link us with the Dead and the Tedeschi trucks.
I don't miss twiddle when they come to Kentucky. I mean,
No, I'm telling you, twiddle is amazing.
but, you know what? That's a healthy, because the umbrella of the jam thing is so huge. Like you've got, you know, Billy Strings is playing traditional bluegrass.
Yeah.
I was a Panic guy from 92. I've been Panic home team. Corey doesn't like this, but I love Fish. It makes Corey mad at me.
I saw Fish at the Jefferson in Charlottesville.
You know, so the East Coast is it's, you know, from Virginia, or man, even further north, you got the whole Charleston, Johns Island, all the way down into Florida. That scene, like there's so much work in that. Is that a good, I mean, that's got to be a good umbrella, even if you all wouldn't define yourself as that.
Well, I'm sorry, it cut out for me. You definitely, and Brittany would agree, like, I don't think we're too far from making that jump personally. Like, I think that, you know, we're talking with management right now, different management companies. And, you know, once you get in their because we already have a pretty substantial following. We haven't put out anything but a single in a while. And we're still getting booked like a lot of bands who are pushing that digital circuit. So I have really strong faith that if we keep pushing a little harder, we're going to do a break out a little bit more, but I'm going to manifest it and pray for it.
Too, sister, I will too.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, the only reason I'm hitting Corey and Ned up for a 6-string all the time is because I still want to be Phil Lesh and Dave Schools.
Yeah. So I don't know, like I'm definitely a songwriter. But because I started in blues, and Brittany knows because we've been playing together for a while now. And we were circling each other before in the same town before we were. I started in blues. So jamming was a part of what you did, even though it was a jam band. And that's how I grew. So when you say jam band, they're like jam band. A lot of jam bands now don't embrace the traditional blues and jazz structure that built that entire scene. They don't even lend their ear to it, but we really do. So we kind of have this like country soul feel with a jam band flavor, and that folky style. But I saw Billy Strings in February, and that was a killer show.
So really, y'all are Allman Brothers kids, just like me.
I would wish to say that I grew up on the Allman Brothers, but I didn't. I think what happened was, and I think one of the reasons our sound is so authentic is because I actually did cut my teeth in classical and blues. So I was singing jazz, and then when I broke out in my own band, I was actually in a prog metal band first because of the opera connection, right? Yeah, and then into blues. And so because I had that, people attribute the rock aesthetic to the Allman Brothers because they were one of the first bands that did that successfully. But I think they have a different sound because our roots are similar to theirs, but not because I was heavily influenced by them, because I actually really wasn't.
I think
that's interesting to me too, because the reason I met Corey and Ned, I grew up in the bluegrass scene.
Mm-hmm.
I got into, my parents liked the Dead and they liked the Allman Brothers, but that jam band scene was very accepting of me because I was a bluegrass kid. It was like, oh, this is cool. Whereas a lot of my friends got into bluegrass because they got into Old and the Way, and because they were Deadheads, first. So that's interesting. I like that. I like that you came from the roots part of it first. You probably heard Alan Wolf before you heard, the British version of the blues, and I think that's really cool.
I think we need to plan a company trip, Ned, to Key West, right?
Oh, hey.
Here.
Hey.
Maybe we can do a Connect Live event from there.
That sounds good.
Some of those roosters are kind of mean
down there. We'll just take a couple of weeks off of work and go down there and hang out on the company.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys could come down to Yucatan and hang out with me in Mexico.
No, hey.
Well, that too.
Let's do
Hey.
Okay, it's going to be a 1-month trip. All right.
I'll buy more mezcal.
I just want to go fishing, Nor.
But Paul, you better bring that hooch, man, because I can't get it here.
Brother, you come to Kentucky, we'll get it all.
Come, let's do it. Let's do a hang down
when
here.
you were in Nashville, I was out of town. So next time.
So you're in Mexico now, Nor.
Yes, I'm still here, and starting next year, I'll be commuting back and forth in LA and traveling around the world still. So a lot of new things on the horizon, and definitely an exciting conversation for another time.
We'll put Key West on the mark for between Christmas and New Year's.
It's only a 30-minute flight from me.
What?
I am 1 hour flight away from Miami, 2-hour flight from Houston, and so I'm close by. I could probably swim over there, maybe.
Cool.
It's a long way to go to swim to keep a cigar lit, but I'll try my best.
You're very talented. You should.
Well, that's the extent of my talent.
Well, I think we have another one from Ashley and Brittany called "Burning Down" from the same sessions, and let's check that one out. I think this has a bass solo in it too. So.
Yeah.
This is another song written howling at the moon with the crazy bulls and alpacas and Tauruses, the land.
You didn't include that in the songwriting method part of the podcast.
Oh, connecting with my inner spirit animal, which is actually a pelican, not a bull, but that day evidently I was Taurian.
Feeling it.
I love pelicans.
Same here.
They are ugly birds, though. Have you seen them?
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of which,
Let's do it.
first line's pretty appropriate. Well, I'm feeling kind of high. I'm losing touch with the sky. And I ain't got much, but I sure as hell don't have any more time. There are lines on the paper, and these lines, they are my bars. And these lines on the mirror, babe, and they're shattering, shredding up my heart. Can't you see that I'm burning down? Don't you see that I'm burning down? There's oil in the sea, in the spores on, in what we eat. My heart's going crazy. You know it's murdering me. Black is white and white is black. I can't see the difference from where I'm at this all. In line with the children. Don't you know in this all? In line. Can't you see that we're bad now? Bad now. Oh, we're bad now. Bad now. Ooh, bad now. Bad now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. What about Brittany coming there with the banjo rolls, man? You're not afraid of that high C string at all. I mean, you're probably going to be my therapist now. Got a little high C anxiety, but it's coming. It's coming.
Oh,
Great.
I see anxiety. I'm echoing that. That's hilarious.
That was like y'all are all over the map, and I dig it. Okay, so both of you all, Ashley, your right hand is just damn near flamenco.
Yeah.
Like it's you're a drummer.
when
And a
we
good
get
one.
y-
Both of you are drummers.
when we get
good
into
ones.
this situation, that's exactly what I read. She becomes like the drummer, and I have to back off and lock. But what's nice about being a solo bassist is being able to flip from the role of the bass player to taking the solos and then doing chords and filling in the stuff that maybe the band would have had. Now, I can't always do it exactly like, when the full band's doing it, but I can put something in there. But you're absolutely reading that right. The hand is becoming like a drummer that I follow and lock with.
And Brittany, your chordal work is warm. Like
Oh,
there's
thank you.
nothing, it's like it's got a swell, like a natural swell, and it's really cool.
I put a plus pedal on the end of the solo. There's a plus pedal by a Singular Sound that I used to grab it because I didn't want that to die before I could get back in and start the groove again. So I just grabbed the top of the solo, hit the plus pedal, and it froze it and sustained it. And then I could start the groove going, and I cleared it while I was going into the next part of the song.
I don't know that
So,
I totally heard it. It was warm.
I really liked how the harmonics you were doing were sort of like a call and response to, or a response to Ashley's end of her phrase.
Thank you.
It's kind of nice.
Thank
And a
you.
lot of chorus. Love that.
Thank you.
I'm from the 80s.
Corey and I are 80. We're police boys.
I'm
We
more
love our
70s
chorus
kid,
pedals.
but
Well,
I mean,
It's my gentle nod to Jocko, honestly.
You know what though, the thing as a player, Brittany, I'll say to highlight, because you do come with like these boards and there's all these pedals, and some players are not tasteful, right? And so as a singer-songwriter and a lead singer or whatever, and playing the way I play, she's always tasteful. I never feel like she's stepping on me or overriding what I'm doing or overriding my vocals or overriding the song. And sometimes I have that trouble with any instrumentalist. So all these pedal talks, it's awesome because it's so subtle to me. It doesn't distract from my experience as a performer, but it enhances the audience experience and the listener's experience. So
I mean, that's the never-ending quest for all of us, like how to make a vocalist and a drummer and a keyboard player, a guitar player, or a fiddle player, or whatever. How do we make them as bassists sound better? And I think Brittany's got that pretty much.
That's the job.
Yeah.
Pretty much nailed, man.
especially as a duo, it's cool to hear that, the conversation of music was happening. Ashley, I know you're doing double duty with the guitar and the vocals, but still as a duo, it really felt like there was a conversation going on that was going somewhere, that was taking the song somewhere, not just, playing chords and bass notes,
that's what was so unique about this performance though. And that's one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and launch the EP from the session, because actually the way it was done, the guitar may not come out so great because of the way it was mic'd. I think I trust Shako, they're going to do great, but it was the conversation and the different dynamic and the textures that Brittany brought that I thought this is pretty unique. I think that, there will be people in the grunge and in the prog scene who really appreciate what she did, because my songs exist pretty much as they are, but it kind of lends, her style is so unique and it was so complimentary that I thought it elevated, warranted finalizing the performance into an EP.
Yeah, there's a place toward the end where you were bending a little bit in and out of notes with the vocals, and then Brittany was down on the low B string bending that. And I'm like, well, you don't see that too often.
That was gnarly. I caught that too.
But I think that comes from the band experience, right? So I bend notes all the time because of my classical training, which is probably something people don't really understand. It doesn't come from the blues. That comes from, swooping in through octaves of training. And her classical training probably lent her, and that fretless experience in the upright probably lent her ability to be able to stretch a note so easily and genuinely and naturally. Brittany, what do you think?
I don't think I've thought about it that much, but I'm glad everyone appreciates it. Sometimes you just hear something and you do it, and your instincts just take you there.
When Paul and I do that, it's the wrong note, and we appreciate the frets.
I mean, listen, man.
Not the wrong note, it's whatever you do around it.
That being said, when the song's full band, it's a very different experience because it ends the show and it's a full rocker, like very big, very huge sound.
What's the full band lineup?
We've got at least one guitar, sometimes two, keys, myself, Toby Fairchild on drums, and of course, Miss Ashley out front.
Yes.
Cool.
But yeah, well, sometimes then we have Ron Holloway guests sometimes, right? So
Oh, that's right. Yes.
it's usually Toby on drums and then you on bass, with the occasional sub, Mike Wathan on keys, Tumble you on guitar. I've recently acquired a permanent member, Dave Poole, who might be joining us permanently on guitar because Tom's relocating to Ithaca. And then Ron Holloway is a special guest.
Very cool. No horns, huh?
No, he's a sax player. Ron is a sax player.
Cool. Awesome. Good.
And he's on several recordings, right? But because he's an at-large, like, touring artist, we only have the pleasure of doing like high-level shows, like the Licking Hole show this Saturday with him.
Nice. Very cool.
So may I ask, David, what have you been up to lately? Very curious
I scored a film that's coming out Friday.
That's pretty exciting. Yes.
Yeah, that's actually going to be in London, just in a couple days in London at the Fright Fest is what it's called. Very British name.
Yes, and you just had the premiere at Cannes back this spring, right?
Well, yeah, that was just kind of what they call a marketplace in Cannes, which I didn't even know there was such a thing until we read it. So yeah, so that's where it got picked up. Yeah, it was picked up for distribution there.
So how much of your actual playing is on this recording? On the
pretty much everything. Yeah.
Okay, so you create the music from the concept to the delivery.
Oh yeah, it's a CR.
Cool.
It's a CR5 showcase, start to finish, bass notes, weird noises, everything. Yeah.
Cool.
We're hoping to feature David in a ConnectLIVE event in the next couple months. Showcase some of his score for the film Daughters is the film, and we're waiting anxiously for when the US premiere might be.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that too. Yeah, he's over there right now. The other Corey Deshawn, the director, he's actually over there right now for the premiere.
Cool.
Nice. Well, I think we have a little.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah, nice to have you here, David. Thanks for joining us.
Congrats, David.
Thank you. Yeah, it's beautiful playing, by the way, and I love the finger picking thing on that solo. It really did kind of. It didn't sound like Jaco, but you could tell that you were influenced by him somehow. I think Jaco influenced every bass player after 1976.
I think we all try.
You think Brittany heard some of those Jaco tunes or not?
Oh yeah, sure.
It's like everybody gets into
like
that.
I heard Jean-Luc Ponty.
I mean, really, do any of us ever play a gig without a nod somewhere? Just in somewhere, a nod somewhere to Jaco. Ever?
I don't see how it could be. If I were a bass player, that'd be all I do.
Well, I don't know how many of you have heard my little Jaco story, but I'm going to make it very short. I did catch up with Jaco at 7th Avenue South in New York City some years ago. It was a very happening jazz club and so on. And I was supposed to be set up to meet him to show the new bass I was working on. I mean, this was a long time ago, before I had a business or anything. I was just trying to figure out what a bass could be. And the meeting I was supposed to have with him didn't happen. It's all chaotic, and musicians, you can never depend on them to be, whatever. I'm joking there, but it was chaotic. And I met him coming down these stairs, and I said, "Hey, Jaco, I'm here. I wanted to show you a bass." And he was not happy to have somebody come up there and bug him at that point. He's like, "Nah, what are you talking about? Why should I look at your bass?" Whatever. Well, so he said, "Why are you bugging me?" I said, "Because you're one of the best players in the best bassists in the world. I wanted to show you my bass." And he said, "One of the best? Are you kidding? I am the best." And he was very upset with me. Anyway, he came around eventually, but it was an experience, meeting Jocko that I will not. I've forgotten an awful lot of stuff from back then, but I have not forgotten that. And he explained to me how he hadn't seen his daughter in 3 years, and how could I be taking his time and all this stuff. But just a little vignette from the past that I thought I'd share with you guys for what it's worth.
Thank you.
It's my favorite conversation I ever had with you, Ned. Corey's like, Ned's going to tell you about Jocko. It's been 4 or 5 years ago, and I still remember it vividly. Man, you met Jocko.
Well, by the way, one thing I have to be clear about is that I remember Jocko, but I can assure you, I know he's gone now, but before he left this earth, he did not remember me. I can guarantee you that.
You might be surprised, my friend. You might be surprised.
Whatever. It was very interesting. And, being in this world, of making instruments for musicians, and then I get the various kinds of connections to musicians around that. And it's fun, a lot of fun. And if it was all pre-programmed and you knew what was coming next, it wouldn't be that much fun. There's always a curveball in there somewhere. So it's anyway, just as far as bass goes, of course, Jocko was so colossal, and it's fun that I had a chance to annoy him.
Something we all know about you, Ned. No,
I can't.
Well, think about, Ned. I think it's my age. I turned 46 this month, so I grew up seeing Steinbergers and NS2 Specters, and they were everywhere. Like in everything I was interested in, they were there. So I don't know. I don't know if I love you or is it you. You may have ruined my life, man. I don't know. I'm teasing. But
Preach, Paul.
Well, you may not love me, but I love you, Paul.
buddy, I love you.
You know that.
Man.
And we're gonna have to work on that a little bit.
I told my bass mentor, I was like, man, I can't believe I'm friends with Ned Steinberger, because he was the guy that sold me my Steinberger licensed cork. I was like, I gotta have one of those. Geddy's got one and Sting's got one, and I was 10 years old, and I wouldn't leave him alone, and he bought one, and he was playing a Spectre at the time, and I eventually got it too. And I bugged this poor guy. I bugged him into buying a Ken Smith so I could have his Spectre and his Steinberger licensed cork, because I was obsessed. And here we are in 2022.
Here we are, and we're still here. That's a good thing. Yes.
And Brittany also has her. She's a Spectre person too.
I am.
She's got the big blue Spectre.
Oh, that's a pretty bass. I saw that hanging back there. I've got an eye for Spectre.
I've got I think 4 now. So
What?
but-
You only have 3 NSs.
Oh, wait a minute. I've got the cello.
Oh,
I've got
okay.
the upright. I've got the 5. I've
Full
got
line,
the
the full line.
6. I've got a few things.
We need to compete with them for sure. So
Wow.
and win.
But
What
you
an
know what,
era!
but-
What an era to grow up in.
Right, exactly. I was
For a
going to
bass player.
say, I texted my friend in high school who I played in a band with, still very good friends with him. And I was like, send him the link to the live stream. And I was like, this is happening today. And Ned's going to be on the call. And he was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe it. I'm like, I know. I'm still a little bit like that myself every time.
Way too humble, Ned.
It's,
You raised us, man. You did.
No,
I mean, no,
here's
but-
something
yeah.
interesting, though. A little piece of history. When I started making basses in 1976, maybe, the Fender bass was, let's do the arithmetic, some 30 years old. And it just amazes me that I've been doing this for longer than that since then. Leo Fender has always been my, I just think he was unbelievable. And but here we are so many years later, and guess what the most popular bass in the world is right now? I mean, you don't need to guess, you know it. It's the Fender, precision bass. That's it. Or, and jazz bass. And so anyway, it's been a long career for me, and it's been a wonderful opportunity to create things that I care about, because they are tools for you guys to make music. And
That
what a wonderful
I-
thing, what a wonderful life I've had, really. It's all around, well, no, I have a wonderful wife and other things, I don't mean, but still to be making musical instruments. I'm so lucky.
I wanted to say, and I think I've expressed this before, but it's been a little while. I wanted to say thank you for your hand in so many instruments I play every day, all along the way. The Spectres, the NS gear, all of it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the Precision's the most popular and the jazz bass, but that's not a flavor for everybody. My flavors tend to land more on that equipment, and you were instrumental in all that coming to bear.
I think that Ned has given a home to musicians that don't necessarily fit in any one genre. I think that's what I feel like. It's like
we can all be strange together, right?
well, right. It's like, I love Ornette Coleman as much as I love Ralph Stanley, and I love Colonel Bruce Hampton as much as I love the Beatles. So it's like, where am I going to go? Well, here I am.
Well,
And, and capos and tuners and
Yeah.
Oh, those
when,
capos are
when he works on a banjo pickup, that's where I'm resigning.
when Corey's going to retire. You'll get him Rolling Rock, go to the house.
I have a new twist on our frame strap system that I'm looking forward, for our cellos, that I'm looking forward to discussing with you tomorrow or soon. So it's an ongoing challenge to create tools that can be of benefit to musicians. And, some of the stuff is not, what are you talking about or whatever, but then other times you're able I'm able to come up with a twist on something that is beneficial, and that's the fun part for me.
Yeah.
You'd have to push things as far as you can push them, really, to innovate. You have to kind of take an idea that seems to be impossible and push it to its outer limits. And the truth may be somewhere else, maybe not quite as far as those outer limits, but to me, that just seems like part of the process, right?
Well, sometimes I wonder, how it is that folks didn't, the thing is that most people who make musical instruments are very traditionally oriented, which I totally appreciate. There's nothing like an acoustic violin. There's nothing like an acoustic double bass. I mean, that's a very special thing. And, acoustic guitars, etc. But electric instruments are fun because it's still a fair amount of uncharted territory out there. It hasn't all been done before, and it's fun to be part of, trying to push the envelope, and it's very satisfying for me. And I'm not done yet. I just want you to know that, okay? I mean, I'm going to be done eventually, and it's not going to be that long from now, but a lot of fun stuff going on right now.
Yeah, and I just you're still working on that Omni bass, remember? The 6-string fan fretted Omni bass that should be coming out in NAMM 2024.
Oh no, that's already. I mean,
okay, cool, good.
We're joking here, guys.
That
You're playing with me there.
But no. Fan basses are very cool. Fan guitars are. There's, all those things are fascinating to me. Things that work for me. If the fan guitars and basses were, not of interest to musicians, they wouldn't be of any interest to me. But if there's something going on there that's creating an opportunity to express oneself, or for you guys to express yourselves, that you really are excited about, well, then I'm excited about it. So there are things coming. It's not all done yet. There's still room for innovation in electric instruments, and it's a fun field for that reason.
It does. And that's so special too, is that you take so much feedback from your players.
You do.
Yeah.
You cover so many genres, from fusion to folk to bluegrass guys to rockers and country players, and I might be the only country player I don't know, but there's
You're
a
not the only one. It's
couple of us.
ridiculous. Anyway, I get a lot of, I look for feedback and I listen. I don't necessarily, the feedback you get is based on a historical picture that maybe is evolving, and I'm always interested in the input, but it's important, just like it is for you, to create your own sound. You learn how people feel about it, and you get critique about what you're doing, but ultimately you have to create it, and you have to, fulfill your vision. And so we're in the same boat there, even though I have, as I've said many times, near zero musical talent. We have a lot in common because we care about music.
Last night I walked, a friend of mine opened up a rock music bar, and there's a lot of music where I'm at right now. It's pretty exciting. And I walked in, and after drinking 2 liters of beer I probably shouldn't have.
Attaboy, that's my buddy right there.
How dare you reiterate my life story?
How many beers did you have that were not a problem before you drank the final
all beers are a problem with me. That's a standard. I don't get drunk of spirits as fast as I do a beer. I don't understand the math on that. But I walked in, and the bass player, the musician's like, "Oh, come," trying to speak to me in Spanish, "Come jam with us." And these guys are playing Bon Jovi and everything, and I'm just having a grand old time. I was like, "Okay, I'll jam." So I pull out my NS, and the whole bar stopped, because these guys, they knew exactly what I had in my hands. And we also developed a relationship with Pepe Hernandez. And so down here in Mexico, the common instrument that you see is the electric upright bass. A lot of people use it down here. They buy an NS. It's very popular for a lot of this Latin style music and Cuban music. But Pepe was, one of the few around that was, using an NS and starting to make its way. But down here, they knew what it was. But they never thought that in any time in their life they would ever have a chance to actually hold one. And so for a good half an hour cutting into their gigging time, they just were taking turns trying out my bass and just asked me all these questions, and having, for them it was kind of like, I didn't realize that this was kind of like a little bit of a gear dream come true for them.
So was that an upright or a guitar?
It was my electric, my 5-string electric bass guitar. And they just I got to see these guys just ensure excitement and just pure happiness of holding a piece of equipment that felt like they could express or just have fun with. They were having so much fun. Then, and I think that's one thing, a true testament to your instrument. And then, for me, your instruments have been a part of my family for now. My father played your instruments, and somehow it just by quantum.
I didn't know that, Nor. I didn't actually know that. That's
yeah. My father, he was playing with an electric mandolin player back in the 80s, and he played on one of your Steinbergers. And I didn't think about this. I still have videos from this from back then. And then, I get an NS, and my dad's like, I used to play this. So it's been in the family, and I didn't even know that. It was just it's always been there. But I think about it, and I talk to, I look at Pepe, and one night I was in Mexico City with Pepe, hanging out with him, and we get sushi, and we sit down, and I look at the TV, and they play Mexico. They're so music is such a big deal here. It's the best place. If you ever want to tour, Ashley and Brittany, this is the biggest sold out stadiums in the world are here in Mexico. Yeah, it's a good time.
Done.
But I sat down with Pepe, And I look at the TV, and it's a classic, one of those famous classic singers, like, you know, where basically all the at this point now, all the divorced mothers are just, you know, casting their votes. Please marry me. I'm single now, but and little did you know, one video after another was Pepe in every like video playing bass, from when he had a fro to like where he is now. And he was telling me that the instrument, you know, coming from the States, and as I travel, I see how your instruments and how the musicians have chosen to use these instruments that play a part in actually developing the music culture, you know, kind of in a very, it's an interesting way. It's kind of very subtle, but they played a part in shaping the you know, culture of music and the sound, because it allows the player to express and to find a voice. You know, there are many tools out there, but these are the tools that they've decided that were best for them and in the studio.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so, you know, what you want to play is so subjective and so personal. Just that, you know, there are folks like you and others that find their voice with an NS instrument. Nothing could make me get back to the drawing board faster than that, because of course there's always the next one, but it's so inspirational for me. So I thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, it's, you know, in a way, if you think about it, like you, Brittany, you're giving back through through the instrument that Net has designed. In a way, I feel like you've given back to all of us by listening to, you know, to us players and to crafting. You may not play music, but you are part of every single note that we choose to, you know, play on an instrument. So in a way,
I think it's a little overstated there. In the end, there's a lot of, you know, you don't need a NS bass to make music, but you've chosen it, and that makes me very proud and all that, whatever that means. But it's not about the bass guitar or upright bass. It's about the musician. These instruments are really not able to make music on their own.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
I think that's a great way to kind of wrap up our session and thank Brittany Frompovich and Ashley Chevalier so much for giving us these great tunes to listen to today, and
Thank you.
Amazing performances. And I guess we're doing a road trip. We're going to Key West for New Year's, and then we'll go to see New Orleans, Mexico.
Let's do it.
Yeah, there'll be 14 of us, and thank you for making the arrangements, and, you know, at the hotel, and for taking care of all the expenses.
And bring a fretless. I'll play it on fly.
Your couch will be fine for me, Nora. I'm good.
Hey,
It's at the legendary spot, man. You can snorkel your way. Where?
I've seen cars with people that fit in a family of 20. I'm pretty sure I can fit maybe like 10 of you.
Yeah, Noor, really thank you and Jonas for really arranging this for all of us. We appreciate it. And David Strother, great to see you. Hopefully we'll do a Connect Live.
Great to see you all.
Probably in October. His film, he scored the film Daughters that has been premiered at Cannes and has I think the UK.
When do we get to see the film? I'm sorry.
We're waiting to hear that.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear. Exactly. You know,
all right, keep us posted.
Supposedly by the end of the month, which we got about a week to go, that we should have a US premiere date.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Right.
All scored on the CR5 violin and all of David's crazy effects. And
Basically, yeah, we created, like the other Corey Deshawn, the director, said we created an orchestra with instruments that haven't been invented yet. That's how he describes what we did. So
perfect to hear. So Ned, get working on that so we can.
Yeah, no, there you go. I mean, we'll have them for you next week.
Yeah. And Paul, please, thank you. You're always a pleasure.
Guys, it's my job on these to beg us not to stop.
Right.
This is too good.
All you guys are all great.
Well, we do have a couple more videos from Brittany and another one from Ashley that we'll put up in some of the links. We'll put the links in the chat or the descriptions. And really just wanted to thank you all for joining us, and what a wonderful session. And Have a great fall touring, Ashley and Brittany. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Corey, for putting us together.
Thank you.
Got
And
it.
listen, if y'all come to Kentucky, I live within an hour of all the distilleries. We have
So what distillery are we coming to? Let us know. Hook us up.
all of them. Beam, Maker's Mark, Buffalo Trace, Heaven Hill, like all the bourbon is super,
Old Smoky.
super close to me.
It sounds like you're
No,
gonna.
that's in Gatlinburg, but we make
Okay.
the bourbon here. But I mean, we do have moonshine, but we can't talk about that.
So it sounds like you're gonna book us a bitches drinking bourbon tour.
Some really good venues. Kentucky's kind of on fire right now. Our scene has always been pretty good. Here in the last few years, it's been really, really blessed good. There are places to play. So, I'll take you to the
I
distillery.
think she just nailed the marketing for this.
Bitches drinking bourbon? Yes, I did.
It's what we do here. So
Send Paul your EPK,
please do. We do have some really good venues with good front of house guys and good green rooms and good catering, and that will treat you right. And we have some really bad ones too. We won't book you at those.
Well, thank you, Paul. That's fantastic. I guess you're a booking agent now. I'll come down too.
Come on, buddy.
No.
We've already discussed this. You're coming.
We'll start on the.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
just
okay.
call it the whole bitches drinking bourbon tour. We'll go through Kentucky
that.
into Key West into Mexico, back through Kentucky again.
Come on.
Why not?
Sounds great. Well, we're gonna shut this down a little bit, and thank you so much, Ashley and Brittany. Again, really great videos, great discussion today. Just want to let you know we do these NS Connect Live events, these series through the whole year. We've been away for a couple months, but we got some fun stuff coming up this fall. So we hope you all join us again sometime to check out some string quartets and David Strother and hopefully some other wonderful artists. Thank you.